Imagine you're standing on the edge of something, and you can almost feel it. A shift is about to happen. You don't need to force it. Everything unfolds naturally, effortlessly, almost like it was meant to. You don't have to push too hard to feel the flow of conversation. It just begins to emerge. Can you feel that? The ease, the connection. Now, you might have heard, it's all about pushing your limits to figure out where that sweet spot is. That happy medium is. It's true. And it's easy to get overwhelmed if you don't have the right approach. So let's look at it slowly. Every step you take, every word, every question, it guides you closer. You don't need to overdo it. No need to rush. Just gently. Keep that momentum flowing. Feel the rhythm of the conversation. Let it guide you. You see, people remember the start and the end of everything. The first thing they hear and the last thing they hear. That sticks with them. If you're brief, begin with the first thing they said and finish with the last thing they said. That's where the magic is. That is what they hold on to. When you engage them, truly engage, you'll notice that it's the soft, subtle cues that bring out the deepest responses. Think about a fishing line for a moment. You cast it out. As the float dips beneath the surface, your natural reaction might be to yank it too early. Overreacting like that, you lose the fish. It's the same with rapport. When you get too excited, too eager, you can break it. So instead, remain calm, collected. No sudden moves. No blips on your radar. Use your state control. State control. State control. Feel it in your body. Control it. And the connection then deepens. Our emotions rule us. They override everything. You've probably noticed how emotions are the real drivers. It's not logic. It's how we feel that guides us. We feel good. And that is what we're really after. So when you communicate with others, remember, what's important is how you make them feel. Not just the words, but with presence. Feel their emotions and align your energy with it. It's not hard, in fact. It can become effortless. It's simply a matter of being aware and attuned with them. Now consider this. 3 is the magic number. 3 things you need to remember. And the beauty of this is, what you do with that knowledge is what counts. You've already learned a lot. You already know so much. It can make your interactions shine. But here's the thing. You must practice and keep practicing until it's automatic, until you don't even need to think about it anymore and becomes second nature. 3 magic questions, that's it. The 3 questions that create a spark of connection, attraction and curiosity. You can become the most fascinating person they've ever talked to simply by listening and asking the right questions. In just 20 minutes, you can create trust. In just 20 minutes, you can have them feel as if they've known you forever. And through paying attention, really paying attention, to the non-verbal cues that they give you. And that's where it starts. Evaluating, testing, and having the strength to let go when things don't meet your needs. Be patient, be wise, and always be alert. The questions, they lead us to layers, each deeper than the last. But here's the secret. You don't need to go deeper than level 2 for most people. Stay in tune with their answers. Let them reveal themselves. You'll begin to see patterns in how they respond, how they react. And at the deepest level, you'll understand their needs, their desires. That's where true connection lives. The first level is easy. Ask about where they are, why they're there. So what brings you here today? It's simple. It gets them out of their head, back into the moment. When they start answering, just echo what they say. In that moment, you'll see their defences fade. And that is where the real magic begins. Level 2, you'll start asking about their passions, their career, their deeper desires. And you know why this works? Because when you ask about their career, you're not just asking about a job. You're asking about their identity. You're tapping into something very primal, very deep. They talk, they reveal. And as they do, their connection with you grows. You don't just listen to their words. You listen to how they feel about what they're saying. Do they light up when you talk about their work? When they speak of their passions? Because that's when you know you're in the right space. Then with the soft questions, gently ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Feel their vision unfold. Their dreams start to speak. It's like opening a door to a new world. And then, when the conversation flows effortlessly, you know you've made a connection that goes deeper than surface level chatter. That's when the magic happens. You can almost feel them pushing you closer without even knowing it. But there's something else that's equally important. You must be evaluating the entire time. Every response they give, you test it against your own needs, your own desires. Is this a person who matches your values? Are they in alignment with what you want in life? If they're not, no worries. You'll know when it's time to step back. With practice, you'll develop an innate sense of when it's time to disengage. Control your state, maintain your calm. When you feel tense, it's hard to connect. You must relax. Let the words flow, soften them, echo, soften, and you'll feel the shift happening. State control, that's your secret weapon. Now this is where things get interesting. The words you choose matter, subtle but powerful. Words like I think or I believe will soften your message too much. Instead, be more curious, more present. Let me ask you this, or I was wondering. These words, they create an openness, a flow, that lets others feel heard and validated. When you make them feel that way, they'll be drawn to you naturally. It's a law of connection. And as you begin to practice this at first, you might feel like everyone can see through what you're doing. That's the spotlight effect, but don't worry. With practice, it fades. And soon, you'll be in complete harmony with this process. So just relax, enjoy it, and remember, your purpose is always to connect, not to control. And through it all, remember, sincerity is the ultimate transducer. When you can embody this fully, effortlessly, you've unlocked the key to true rapport, to deep connection. Keep your state control under control. Soften and echo, and soon it'll be second nature. And as it does, you'll find the answers that you seek. They come not from pushing, but from allowing yourself to connect, allowing them to open up. And that, my friend, is the magic of deep, meaningful conversations. Because you know, sometimes when you get so focused on the outcome, we forget something essential. You don't need to know exactly what's going to happen for things to shift in the right direction. It's the intent, the quiet belief that things are moving, even when it seems like nothing is happening. When you relax into that belief, something magical unfolds. You realize pushing your limits, it isn't about force, it's about discovery, exploring the boundaries of what's comfortable, just enough to see where the perfect balance lies. When you can relax and trust, you learn what you're truly capable of. Because you know, everything comes down to one simple truth. People remember what happened first and what happened last. So think about that. First impressions, they linger, don't they? And that last moment, it stays, it leaves a mark. You can take this with you everywhere. When you talk, you can shape experiences, create memories. When you understand this, you have the power to craft those memories and to be the one they remember in the most profound ways possible. So just imagine what it feels like to be in that moment, in the flow. Imagine being so present that everything you do flows effortlessly. And yet, there's something deeper. When you don't overreact, when you hold your charm, that is when the connection deepens. You can almost feel it when you're connected in a way that bypasses all barriers. No blips on the radar, total congruence, total control. Because as you already know, emotional needs, they always override everything. It's the emotions that drive the actions. So think about it. You're not just logical creatures. We're emotional beings, always seeking to feel good. Feeling good is what drives everything. Every word, every action is designed to move us towards that feeling, towards that sense of fulfillment. The more you tune into this, the more natural it becomes to guide others towards that feeling. And then there's the magic of the number 3. Have you noticed how 3 is everywhere? It's the structure of stories, the rhythm of change. 3 simple questions, and everything shifts. When you know how to ask them, you begin to unlock something incredible. You become the most fascinating person in the world. You learn to create trust quickly. When you listen, really listen, you can start to understand what they need, what they long for. You can begin to shape the dynamic of a relationship in less than 20 minutes. You can be someone that they trust, someone they feel connected to, simply by paying attention. paying attention to the signals, the unspoken cues that they're giving you. Think about it. How often do people get frustrated because someone doesn't live up to their potential? People want to see someone who's growing, evolving, becoming. But you can spot that early on. Use the questions to test, to evaluate, and to decide whether this connection fits with what you're looking for. Whether it's a business relationship or something more personal. And of course, you're always testing. You know this, right? It's subtle but powerful. You can ask questions to gently nudge people into revealing more about themselves. You can learn everything that you need to know, without ever feeling like you're pushing them. Always be evaluating, and remember, never go beyond what you need to know until the time is right. Testing is an art. The thing is, you're always asking open-ended questions, ones that bring out an opinion, a story. You don't need to settle for a yes or no. Why would you, when you can have something so much more expansive? Stories carry power. Stories carry emotion. And in those stories, you'll hear the words that matter the most. The words they emphasize. The ones that come back to you. And you begin to see patterns that unlock their internal world. You start to build rapport without even trying, without even thinking about it. When you begin to ask these first questions, you're moving them from the internal world into something external. The location, the environment, it shifts their focus, it moves them from their head into their body. It bypasses their defense mechanisms and it allows them to open up. And it doesn't trigger any alerts. So think about it for a second. No alarms, just curiosity, just interest. Once you've moved them from their internal world, you can guide them to a deeper question about a career, a passion, what they truly love. That's where the real magic happens. You're not just talking to them. You're talking to the core of who they are. What they do, how they identify, what makes them feel alive. When you guide someone to talk about their career or passions, you're not just hearing what they do. You're hearing who they are. You begin to understand their identity at a deeper level. They become excited. They're telling you about their passions. They're giving you access to the most intimate thoughts, the deepest desires. So think about that. This is where the real connection is born. You can feel it, can't you? The moment when the conversation flows and you're both on the same wavelength. You echo what they said. And you feel a little rush, don't you? That sense of validation. That's the real connection. You've just echoed their own words. And they feel understood. Once you start seeing those little moments, you can start to amplify them. Use their words in your own stories. Make it organic. Watch as the bonds deepen effortlessly. As the connection deepens, so too does the rapport. You learn the art of analog matching, finding the subtle details in their stories that you can reflect back. Not to dominate, but to show you understand. To show you're with them in that moment. To keep them comfortable in the flow, so that trust builds naturally. You know that feeling when someone's listening to you, truly listening? It's like magic, isn't it? The person you're talking to, they feel seen, they feel heard. And that feeling, it stays. That is what you're creating. And now, there's a beautiful shift happening, right? From superficial to profound. You've moved from basic questions to deeper layers. The identity questions. You've navigated the dance of words, letting them lead, while you gently guide. And now you begin to ask about those early memories, the ones that are the foundation of their being, those childhood stories, where they were first shaped. That's the moment where everything becomes clearer, and you begin to understand who they are, why they are the way they are. The fascinating thing is, when people connect with these early memories, they relive them in a way that's very real, very present. They're not just talking about their past, they're feeling it. They're sharing it with you. You're linked to these experiences. When they begin to feel that sense of being heard, they begin to trust you, and suddenly everything shifts. They feel like they've been known for years, even though it's only been a few minutes. But in those minutes, you've made an impact. The connection has been made. So let me ask you, how does it feel, knowing you can shape those connections, that you can build rapport, deepen trust, and move people effortlessly through layers of themselves? How does it feel to know you can have the conversation that leads to everything that you want and more? Relax into this feeling, because that's what you've just unlocked. A new way of connecting, of understanding, and ultimately of creating a world where you want to live in.